25 years after Michael Jordan starred in the hit movie Space Jam, LeBron James gives us a new legacy. But has LeBron honored what came before? I'm Chad.
And I'm Matt.
And you are listening to episode 15 of We Used to Talk About This at Work. So I've returned, Matt, and I listened to an episode of the show that I wasn't on, and it was weird. It was so weird.
It was a clusterfuck. I'm glad you back. I was like, shit, Chad ain't here. We about to do this shit how I want to do it. Man, it was like a chicken with his head cut off. I didn't know what was going on. Then I had to edit that. You ain't never leaving.
Like you all those episodes, I'm like, Matt, please don't say that. Matt, please don't do this. Matt, I don't want to do this because of the editing. You like, nah, it's okay. Now you see what I've been saying, huh?
Well, no, actually, editing is fine. It's just time consuming because you got to listen to the podcast multiple times.
Right.
And then I can tell where the longer goes on, you're like, I don't feel like editing that. That's staying in there.
Yeah. So we're back together and we have some more guests for you all. We've got Steve and we've got Nelson. So Steve, Nelson, why don't you guys tell us, how do we know you? Who are you?
I actually know Matthew because I am married to his sister.
Ooh.
True story.
I have known him, like 13 years, something like that?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
It's been a minute.
How long have you been married?
10 years this year.
Okay.
Back in June.
Okay. So just had an anniversary. Nelson, who are you? How do we know you?
Well, sir, I think I've known you about 20 some odd years. We started knowing each other around middle school. So
24 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know you a little too much.
Yeah.
I might have to ship you off sometime soon.
So Nelson is one of my oldest friends that I still am in communication with.
Lovely.
Yeah. Also, I was hanging out with him last week when I was off, so we have a story or two. So, Steve, what you been?
Wait a minute, hold up. So I told the listeners that you out here taking care of business, but really you was out gallivanting with your friends.
That's taking care of business.
Taking care of business. No, you don't have.
He was just on a simple assignment.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
I have tales to tell of many bridesmaids, and that's the little teaser.
Yes.
But Steve, what you been up to this week, man?
Just went back to work finally after about 16, 17 months. It's definitely an adjustment.
Okay.
I don't know if I like the adjustment, but
okay,
it's there.
That's what I've been thinking, because as somebody who's never stopped going to work this whole time,
Nelson,
I wonder
too.
after so much time of being at home that you're like, I don't even go to work at all. I can do all this stuff from home anyway. So I was want to know, when people start going back to work, how was that going to be?
I mean, we could have done it from home. It was just really quiet and back in the office.
Are you at full capacity?
Almost. I think next week we will be.
Oh, damn. Wait, when did you go
Early
back?
next week.
When did you go back?
Back on the 19th.
I don't. No one knows. We're not looking at the calendar, sir. All right.
That's just last Monday.
Okay, so damn, they going from like partial capacity to full capacity in a week. Like, what was the point of that?
Well, I mean, we still had some people in the office this whole time, but I think they're just, trying to ease everyone in at the end of the week.
Okay. So, Nelson, you are on Matt's team of like, I had to go to work every day. So you got some things to say?
Well, thankfully, with all this work and everything, they decided to give your boy a little promotion. So I got shipped to another location, and now I'm still currently trying to learn this new position, and they are busting my ass. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell I need to do for these people that they won't be on my back so much. So
Okay.
yeah, just learning as I go.
Congratulations.
Oh,
I
yes.
appreciate
Congratulations,
that.
sir.
Thank you.
For
Yeah.
the mic. All right. Well, you had some escapades this weekend.
Yeah, well, I did work 6 days this week, so like I said, kicking my ass. But I decided to slip on down to Food Truck Friday. It's a little thing they do in St. Louis. They bring about 20, 25 different type of plate foods and let everybody try different things, and well, obviously for money, and then they have live music and stuff like that. Seeing some people that I need to see, like you run into exes and stuff, you're like, oh, excuse me. Well, you think you better than me because you got a guy down here? Well, you better move on. No, but overall, finally my friend showed up and they not looking at me crazy, so I had a good time down there with.
Do you have any foods that you would recommend or that you just liked in general?
Well, if I can get you to come down there one week, it's this place called Angie's Burgers.
I've had that before. That they came to our previous employer, Matt. I'm not sure if you ever came out to the food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, they had that
That's cool.
was that Budweiser burger or something like that?
With the caramelized onions and all that jazz. You said it was all right. Excuse you?
Well, I had it like 4 or 5 years ago, so the memory's a little fuzzy.
Now, when you have a delicious food,
Mm-hmm.
you remember it for years and years.
I remember having it. I can't remember what it tastes like, but I remember having it.
It was 2 years since I've had that burger, and sustenance. But no, but I had burgers, had alcohol, of course, ice cream, Cajun food. Look, I had a lot of stuff. So
you knew you were going to be on this podcast and you weren't taking notes out in the field.
what am I supposed to take notes about?
So that you could report back.
I don't want to say bad things about certain places. Like,
look, we shit on movies every now and again on this podcast. You can shit on the restaurant. Yeah.
Shit, I'm about to shit on this movie later on.
That's spoilers. Don't spoil your
spoilers. Teaser.
Golly. No, overall it was a good experience. The places are really good. It's a fun time, but I don't know if they're gonna keep doing it with this mask thing, and so we'll see how that goes.
Steve, have you been to anything like that before?
Yeah, they used to have one. We haven't been in a while, but I think in the Chesterfield Valley.
Okay.
They used to have a whole bunch of food trucks lined up through there.
So you
don't remember
you and the wife have been to that, or?
Yeah, we've been to stuff like that before.
Okay.
And I think some of the food on the food trucks is some of the best food for whatever reason you've ever eaten. Don't know if it's the whole environment thing or what, but
half these places like don't have stand-ups. I'm like, but I want to come back next week. Give me more food. Take my money, please.
Look on their Facebook page to see where they're gonna be parked.
So now I have to. Now I'm like chasing.
Now you got to do more research from the research you just was supposed to do. So
do I like a researcher? No. I throw things for a living. No.
So last week when I was off, Nelson and I and another one of our friends, a reference from a few episodes ago, the Moderna boys, as I like to call us. Nelson doesn't approve.
I don't condone that.
You don't endorse that?
No.
But we drove down to, well, I guess we drove over to Nashville,
yes,
which apparently is the bridal
bachelorette party central.
That's the bachelorette capital of the U.S. But I want to put an asterisk by that, and I want to say that is the bachelorette capital for white women in the U.S.
What makes Nashville so good for have a bachelorette party?
Country music and country music.
Drinking beers and having fun and singing about your bad days, or I don't know.
And I guess the hot chicken, they're famous for hot chicken too.
Did you
Steve,
have
you've been to Nashville, right?
A long time ago. I mean, we drove through there in January, but
Right. Okay.
I haven't actually stopped and went there in like 20 years.
Okay.
Oh, the Kid Rock's got his bar down there in Nashville.
Kid Rock has a bar right next to Jason Aldean's bar.
Oh, I didn't realize that was Kid Rock's bar.
Like, you can't drive on that street because of Kid Rock's bar.
We did, and it took all day.
It did. And then we paid like $25 for parking. And I'm like, we're not leaving from down here. Like we just live down here now, guys.
And then immediately left an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was overall a fun trip. It for me personally, it was nice seeing people like out and about, like there wasn't COVID. And I'm not saying that in like because like people weren't wearing masks and they were being foolish or anything, but like just being at home for so long, it was just nice to see like a lot of people out and about. And it made me for a little while forget about like this last year,
Uh-huh.
It was a very fun experience. Even though it was kind of short lived because we went down there. It was like a day and a half with the driving and everything. I had a really good time with my brothers. I enjoyed ourselves. Hope we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, I had a good time. Watched some Netflix. We actually watched Space Jam together in the hotel room, and that was an experience.
Yeah,
but we're not there yet.
Oh boy.
And have you been to Nashville before, Matt?
Nope.
Also this week I got a library card, and I haven't had one since like middle school.
Why it take you so long to get a library card?
Well, I don't really read physical books for real, or if I do, I'll buy them. But like I was looking up some stuff and I'm like, oh man, I want to read this book. This might be useful. But then I looked on Amazon, it's talking about $20. So I was like, I don't really feel like spending that right now. And so the library was like, hey, we've got this book, man. And I was like, you know what? And that's free. So I went up to my local library, got a card. They didn't have the book in stock. So I put a hold on it. And then I came home, downloaded the app, logged in, saw that the woman put my information in there all the way wrong. She had my name in there as Chase, and some had my address all wrong. And I'm like, I handed you my ID, ma'am. Like, what are we doing here? So I got that straightened up the next day. I signed up for the card on Wednesday, and the book was available Thursday.
Okay.
So they not planning on getting this books, moving books between branches.
So how's that book gonna work out for you?
I am a little over halfway through it, and I'm treating this kind of like schoolwork where I took notes and stuff. So I got like 2-3 pages of notes on the contents of the book. And yeah, it's got some good information. I am not in a place currently to execute all of that information, but it's got some good information.
Do you think that information would have helped you years ago?
Actually, yeah. And also therapy too. It's I got a self-help book from the library.
Self-care is the best care.
Yeah, I know. You showed it to me.
Yeah, no, I was saying that to the audience. I'm not cutting this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I started going to libraries once my son wanted to go to the library to get books. So this is back when he was in like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Okay.
And then I realized like they got video games and everything else like that. So like games I used to miss out on. Like,
stuff,
oh damn, that's right. I remember I thought I wanted to play this game. I go rent this game, play it for a couple days, turn it back in, and they got movies and stuff like that. This was before I was on my piracy stuff. So I was like, oh, I missed out on this one. Yeah, the library is good. People be sleeping on the library.
I feel Yeah, I feel like I still owe the library money from I borrowed music and games from them like years ago. I was like, oh, hold on, they have the Grand Theft Auto. Excuse me, um, I just went nuts.
I was partially hesitant to get a car because I'm like, I don't remember having a balance, but I'm just like, what if I do? I'm gonna be real mad.
I was thinking that too, but I'm like, I have my library card in like Hazelwood. Hazelwood and St. Charles, they don't talk to each other, so it should be fine.
What are your feelings on the library system, Steve?
The whole system as a
The
whole.
whole system.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I used to go up there and, get like the CDs and everything just because I didn't want to pay for, like the new M CD or the new Nelly CD at the time. And somehow after I found out, like after 3 or 4 years, they're like, oh yeah, you owe like $7.29. I'm like, what are you talking? Seven what?
I can put a zero behind it.
And it was the ones back in Hazelwood.
Oh, they found you, huh?
No, I'm like, no, I turned that in. I just never paid anything with it.
And so now you've been a library fugitive?
Well, I mean, I got one in St. Charles, but
Oh, okay.
I made sure those Hazelwood and Florissant ones were wiped clean once I got the one in St. Charles.
That's funny. So you've got some. Let me get the soapbox for you. You've got some things to say this week.
The Olympics has already started.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I've been wanting to talk about this like for like 2 weeks, but I always like, it's not the right time. So now, before I get started, so what are you guys' thoughts, like all the different stuff with it? What's your thoughts about the Olympics this year?
Well, I feel like maybe you think maybe they probably should have canceled it, possibly, with all of these things going on with the variants out here and so many people, like, they wind up having to quit because they're starting to test positive for different versions of it. Maybe it could have been canceled.
Well, they didn't cancel this one because they were losing a ton of money, at least half of what they've got now. So it's almost like Japan almost had no choice but to go on with it. Otherwise, they're just keep losing millions and billions from this point on.
And my thoughts is, yes, I understand, just like the NFL, MLB, and everything, you got to do it for the money and stuff. So I understand they want to go through it. And like, it's over 75% of the population of Japan, they don't want to have it. So my thing is, if you're going to do it, you just got to go ahead and do it and let it ride the way it is to get. Because my thing is, if you're already disappointing the base of you doing it. So now they're already thinking negative about you. So now you're doing more stuff to bring negative light to it. Like, for example, they're having the Paralympics now too. And there was this woman, I wish I would have wrote her name down, but she's deaf and blind and she's a swimmer. And they wouldn't let her bring her aide, which is also her mother, because you can't have they're limiting how many people you can bring and stuff. So right now it's one aide for 35 people, which is crazy. Toyota is not advertising anymore for the Olympics because they know that majority of the population don't want it there. And it was another famous company too.
So my opinion on the whole thing is that I feel like they should have canceled it as well. Like, I know that they're going to be losing a lot of money, but just for me personally, like, I don't like how the timing is fucked up now because, like, 2020, we should have had a Summer Olympics. 2024, that should have been the next Summer Olympics. Now we're shifting it to 2021. Like, so what is the next Summer Olympics going to be 2024 or 2025? Like,
no, it's still. No, I thought it's still keeping the same.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. I heard it was going to be 2024, and it was just going to be that 3-year break instead of the 4-year break.
Yeah, and see, I don't like that.
To go on as
I don't like that. And then the merchandise is fucked up too.
But it's a certain situation when, I guess, whenever they got the bid to get it in 2020 was like 8, 10, 12 years ago. They started developing things and like trying to, get this stuff situated.
Mhm.
But
there should be some sort of insurance for that, like an act of God. Like, what if there was a
so they're just gonna call State Farm and be like, hey, Chris Paul, you mind taking care of this for me?
no? So, like I'm saying, like it, like the yes, they had to construct a lot of things in Japan to accommodate the Olympics, and an act of God, a pandemic, stopped that from happening. I feel like that should be an insurance right. That should have been an insurance write-off, and that could have been their out. Just like if there was like a really bad flood and all that work got destroyed, you would get an insurance payout, right?
Yeah, but you're not
Yeah, but
getting.
who would
You're not
take
gonna
the insurance?
But you're not gonna. Even if there was something like that, you're not getting the money back. Like you might get the money back for like the buildings or something like that, but they losing out on all the TV money, all
People,
the ad revenue stuff.
but you already mentioned that people are already backing out.
Just no wait, Toyota and whatever other company, they're backing out. But think about it, NBC, all these countries have these contracts with these people to air the Olympics. They're gonna be losing out on all that money. That's the billions of dollars, the TV money.
But look at all this hassle. Like all these players can't play because they've got COVID. Like all these dumb restrictions, and like people are willingly like backing out because of the restrictions. And then people over here testing positive for marijuana on their test. I'm just saying, like COVID has affected everybody.
Like all the other sports, comes down to that almighty dollar. That they had to figure out how to get to this money one way or another. I don't know. It's not because when last year before or 2019 before COVID, man, we was hyped. We was like, oh yeah, me and my friends was trying to get tickets and everything to the Olympics. Everybody was so excited. Now, and people around here in Japan don't care about this stuff. Actually, they upset. Speaking of that, there was a video of one lady. They run across with the torch before they light it. The lady came through with a water gun and tried to put out the torch.
That's funny. That is funny.
It was funny because I was like, why wouldn't she just have like a bucket or something to dump on there? And that little water gun ain't gonna work.
Yeah, like a little Nerf water gun or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's how people don't want it.
They're not really losing out on the stadium costs because that's all worked in already. It's like the 5 stadiums or whatever they have for each event. It's filling up all that with the merchandise also and all those ticket sales.
Right. But then they aren't even getting the ticket money because people can't go, and I don't want that merch if I can't go. Like, who's buying the merch? So they're still losing that money,
unless it's like a souvenir type of thing that says like I was there for it.
But only people that can be there are like the athletes and Japanese people, and the Japanese people hate it. So like, who's buying the merch?
Well, the Japanese people can't go. That's what they should have. They should have done it. Was it like was it baseball who did something where it was like 20% capacity or something like that? Because if you think about it, they're having multiple events. They should just at these multiple events at multiple sites. So why wouldn't you just have like select people?
But the problem is, as a whole, like a lot of Japanese people don't like it, and they can't have foreign guests come in because they aren't even letting them in the country. So where's your 20%, Matt?
Give it to the foreigners that's already here. Let me get a free ride up there. I watch some on water polo.
You would have gone to the Olympics.
I wanted to before.
No. You would have gone to the Olympics.
No. If I want
in these conditions,
that's what I'm saying.
These conditions right now, like if you got a ticket right now and they said you can go to the Olympics, you would go. You would hop on the bullet train.
Me? You say me by myself? Would I go?
Because you 100%.
Just. If they was like, you can go to the Olympics right now. Here's your ticket. Here's your stuff. Go right now. I will go to the Olympics right now.
All right, that's all I want to know.
Right, I got the vaccine. I'm good. I see the Olympics. This is a once in a lifetime thing.
That vaccine not gonna do shit about the new variant, but yeah, I got you.
Hey man, that new variant could be right outside my workplace right now.
What's up, Steve?
You could be right next door to your neighbor right now.
See?
So then let me ask you, to gain some of that revenue back, do you guys think they should have done like what they did over here in the States. Like with people would pay to have their cardboard cut out, put in the stadiums, and pump in, crowd noise. Would it make those athletes feel a little bit better? I mean, it's not much revenue back, but at least Japan's getting some sort of revenue back.
Let me spin that back around on you, Steve. When you're watching a sporting event or any kind of show that is supposed to have a live audience, do you want to see those cardboard cutouts? Because speaking for myself, I don't.
I mean, it was weird, but the sound was still there.
Okay,
but it's fake noise.
Okay,
it's fake noise, but it's not also crickets everywhere.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a wrestling fan, and once COVID hit, first they had no fans at all with no sound, and you can hear everything, which was garbage. Then they piped in crowd noises. Then they got a whole television wall with fans. Now going from having no fans to the piped in crowd noises and the little LED screen with fans was so much better than having no fans at all. So, and just to go back real quick to the Olympics, when they talked about the opening ceremony and they said it was eerie how it was so quiet in there, they said that you can, inside the stadium, you can even hear the protesters outside. So if they weren't going to do the cardboard cutouts, they should at least piped in cheerings for each people as they walked out. But yeah, transitioning back to the wrestling thing. So yeah, going back to that, at least the crowd noises or in some situations, the cardboard cutouts does help the environment, the ambiance, or whatever you want to call it. It does help in some situations.
Okay.
Yeah, they also did eventually they started doing like little monitors where people were actually sitting in there and watching the wrestling, and now they just opened up to full capacity. Now maybe not full capacity, but they definitely are letting people.
It looks full capacity.
Yeah, they got live fans now.
Oh, geez.
So since we're on wrestling, Matt, you want to throw out your whole wrestling conversation that you want to have all the way back in episode 3?
Well, it was just take a couple minutes, just talk about wrestling. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I'm saying go for it. I'm looking at the clock. Go for it.
All right, so I'm gonna assume all y'all are caught up on everything except for I didn't see SmackDown because time difference and things.
Oh so, yeah, I didn't see it either. Or like the last how old am I? 34 years of wrestling.
So
the highlights today.
What's your thoughts about Cena being back?
I think it's good for the business. I mean, I know how you feel about Cena being back.
I didn't think he really was gonna be gone. He's probably gonna do that Rock thing where he shows up like every year and fight somebody's like, I guess because Roman is now the big dog, and yeah, of course he's probably gonna come back, and I'm not spoilers maybe, who knows, predictions, probably get his ass whooped and go make another movie. Mm-hmm. Well, that's something comes and then probably come back in a couple years.
He's got Fast 10 and 11 coming up.
Yep. No, you're right. That's what usually happens. Whenever The Rock will come back, you usually come back where he's about to promote a movie. He's in an angle, do whatever, put somebody over, and then leaves. Huh?
That's confirmed. At least that The Rock's supposed to be coming back sometime soon.
Well, yeah, that's not confirmed yet.
Yeah, they're rumoring SummerSlam for it.
He's got Jungle Cruise in a couple of weeks,
or maybe Survivor Series. I'm not completely sure, but yeah,
because it's supposed to.
He does have a Jungle Cruise. I keep saying that, yeah.
And then Black Adam next year, so yeah, he'll be back.
Right.
But back on you.
Oh, okay. What else been going on in wrestling?
I can start. So I watch here and there. I usually try to keep up mostly through YouTube stuff. But I'm really caught up on everything. I really haven't watched fully since maybe about 10 years ago. I think I can't remember, like when I started watching, I started watching with my uncle. My uncle, he used to have this story like the Hogan came here in the 80s and I ran into the ring with my beer and I told him that I can beat up Hulk, I can beat you up. And I'm like, All right, dude. All right. But I think I really got into it around the Monday Night Wars, and then yeah, I think that's when it like really sucked me in, and then after I don't know what happened around the mid 2000s. So I was like, oh, okay, this is going somewhere completely different. I don't know if I'm completely down, but I always keep in touch. I always keep up on it.
Yeah, like Monday Night Wars. No, I'll take that back. It's probably like back to the Hogan, Andre, Macho Man days. Then of course, of teenage years for the Monday Night Wars, and I was all in it then. But then I fell off of it when I went to college. So like the early 2000s, that's when I fell off, and then I joined the Navy, and then I never watched it. And then I came back in 2012, or let me excuse that. During that time, I used to listen to um, like YouTube stuff to see what's going on. And then towards the end, I started listening to podcasts to catch up on. Got out the Navy. That's when I started getting back on it. Now just being back over here in Japan is where I can't watch it all the time. So I just listen to podcasts.
What was your guys' like favorite match? Either back in the day or even more recently?
Um, uh, so one of my favorite wrestlers, was Chris Jericho, and when he initially switched over to WWE, that was probably one of my favorite moments. Like when they got the countdown, it was like, and then his music came. That was like one of my favorite moments. So when he got the undisputed belt and he beat The Rock and Stone Cold in the same night, that was probably my favorite. I like that was probably my favorite night. But I think overall my favorite match was, I think it was an Iron Man match between Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, and then I think it was on SmackDown one night. And in the beginning of the match, I think Brock Lesnar like beat the crap out of him with like a chair, and then he started like getting wins back, but eventually, yeah, Brock won because he beat him since in the beginning. But yeah, that's probably my favorite match right there.
My growing up, my favorite wrestler has been Bret Hart, and my favorite match is I love Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13. I just like top to bottom, like the double turn at the end, like top to bottom. That's like one of the best matches, best moments. Uh, it's not a match, but like one that I remember fondly because it was during the Monday Night Wars is uh, when The Rock and Sock did The Rock's birthday stuff.
When he brought in like his gym teacher and like,
yeah.
Man, that was hilarious.
This is you, or
that
whatever.
was hilarious.
Yeah. But something more recent.
Recent?
I can't think of anything.
Kofi Mania.
Yeah, I would say either and or.
Oh yeah, Kofi Mania was cool, but I think for me it didn't hit me like that because I wasn't like watching it constantly and stuff. So I kind of heard it through the grapevine type of thing. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It didn't hit me like when I be reading online, like it hit people, like people cried at the end, like when he won and stuff. And I guess because maybe I wasn't as emotionally invested into it that I didn't get it like that. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of their stuff in like NXT is they be having some good stuff. But yeah, what about you, Steve?
I mean, even though it's like everyone's favorite, it would be The Undertaker. But I got connected with him when he it was on one of the Monday Night Wars when he quote sacrificed Austin and put him on his symbol.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was the first one that I vividly remember growing up.
I got a quick hot take. I like Biker Taker. I loved Biker Taker. The rolling
American
Yeah.
Badass.
But
I love that guy.
oh, for sure. I think the best persona that he gave off was with the Ministry.
No, that was dope.
For sure.
I just hear so many people like, oh, that was just the worst, and I'm like,
no way.
Dope to me.
No, I agree with you because when he became American Badass, that was the first time that he spoke like a regular person. It wasn't just rest in peace and taking souls.
Right.
Yeah. So this is his first time he like talked like a badass. And speaking of that reminds me of one time the crowd was chanting "what" to him while he was talking, and then he said, "Say what if you sleep with your sister?" And then he cut the chant out right then and there. So yeah, I agree with you. So I'm really appreciating and enjoying this time I get to finally talk about wrestling on the podcast.
Hey, let's talk more about wrestling for like a next.
He's been waiting 12 podcasts for this moment. Right. So,
are you satisfied now, Matt?
I'm satisfied right now. So I need all the listeners to email Chad at We Used to Talk Pod and let him know that we want more wrestling segments.
Are you just trying to wrap that shit up?
It's like, let me click this button that
Well, with that being said, I think we're ready to transition to our movie this week. It is Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
It's not what I want, Dad.
Hold up, wrong floor.
This is the serververse.
What'd you do to my son? Where's Dom?
The only way you're getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball.
I need to assemble an elite team to help give my son back.
I know what you're looking for. A dream team. Ma'am, shoot the ball. Let's try that again, shall we?
King James. Welcome to the Space Jam.
So this movie is basically about LeBron James being a bad father. He has two sons in this movie. One is great at basketball. The other one is not great at basketball. The one not great at basketball is a good game designer. He takes that son with him to Warner Brothers for a pitch meeting. LeBron James doesn't like the idea of scanning his likeness into the WB servers, and they can just insert his likeness into any property that they want. So LeBron and his son get sucked into the servers by the character that Don Cheadle plays, and he says, in order to be released, you have to play me at basketball. So LeBron James goes to the various properties that Warner Brothers owns to get the Looney Tunes together to play basketball against Don Cheadle and actual other professional basketball players, but everybody's modified and they're cheating. And through the power of teamwork and, you know, NBA Jam style moves, LeBron James and company saved the day. So what did you guys think of the movie?
I thought it was actually, I take man right here. I thought it was better than the original. And I don't want to mention the original anymore, so I'll shut up about that. But this was actually it's actually really funny movie. Despite all the little things that was somewhat annoying, like I don't know. I don't want to say anything about the specific rap. It just, I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? No, it was a lot of. It was enjoyable. I really liked it. I really did.
Well, I thought it was okay. It's nothing I'm gonna go to Friday, Saturday night, you know, go pay for. Maybe a Sunday afternoon sort of movie. But overall, I mean, I liked it. It wasn't, you know, I didn't go into it expecting the biggest blockbuster of the summer. I went into it thinking it is what it is. It's made for 10, 11, 12-year-olds ultimately, and not adults. So with you know, keeping a mindset with not high expectations, it was okay. It was decent. Although I did find it a little much with that whole computer thing. I think I would have liked a little bit better if it was more like the classic version, like the first one. But that's because I just thought so much was going on with it, like the whole computer and power-ups and the 2,000 points for one shot. And
Have you never played NBA Jam, Steve?
NBA Jam is one of the best games ever made.
I mean, that's basically what they ripped off in this movie.
Yeah, but
that in NBA Streets. Yeah.
One NBA, yeah, that one was a good one too. But NBA Jam and NBA Streets are two totally different animals in Paris. I mean, those were instant classics. This one is a Sunday movie. If you catch a nap in the middle, then you catch a nap in the middle.
My thoughts on this movie was I highly enjoyed it. Psych, this movie was hot garbage. I mean, like, I shouldn't say hot garbage. That's going a little bit extreme. I did not enjoy this movie. I thought the story was whack. Not the story of him getting his son back. I thought the story of him and his relationship with his son was whack. I thought
That's ripped from any 90s children's movie.
And that's where it comes down to, is like the dialogue was whack. It felt like, I know when you get these types of movies, you have to throw in hip, cool words or whatever, little phrases, but there was no hits. It was all missing. Just like, what in the Matrix? I was like, come on, LeBron, what are you doing, man? Then, like, the plot of it, I mean, Don Cheadle, it's okay, I guess, with his thing, but it didn't make sense to where, because for the simple fact that since LeBron didn't go with his idea, I'm about to trap him and everybody else in the server. But what does that do, though? So, like, it was weird to me, like, on the first one, the bad guy wanted Michael Jordan to be an animal in a cage, and he's going to make money off him because people was going to pay to see play against him while he's chained up type of thing, to where this one, I didn't understand what would be the purpose of him doing that. I watched this with my 10-year-old son, and he was very excited to see it. And once we got done, I asked him how did he like it versus how did I like it. So he's about to make a little cameo on this short segment to give his thoughts of a 10-year-old and Space Jam 2.
Hello, I'm Matthew.
All right, now tell him what your thoughts was on Space Jam 2.
I thought that Space Jam 2, The New Legacy, was good. I liked it.
Why did you like it?
I liked how it was at least funny enough for me to enjoy it, and it wasn't too silly where the part where it just looked like a baby made it.
So, did you connect with the son character? Like, did you feel like, oh man, this is a character that I like enough to I want to keep watching this movie?
It was good. I liked all the characters.
Okay, so no one specific character. So you like the son, you like LeBron.
Well, throughout the movie, I like Taz, like the Tasmanian Devil.
Okay.
And I like, my favorite part was like when he spinned around and he turned the course around, where the Anthony Davis, like the bird, he made it into the other person's goal. So,
can I ask, how familiar are you with the Looney Tunes?
I mean, I only watched this first Space Jam, and then besides that, not really.
Okay, so you've seen none of the shorts, you've seen none of the TV shows, you're just going off Space Jam movies.
Sound like his father isn't raising him right.
I mean, that's very true. I mean,
or his father's raised appropriately. He don't need to watch that.
He's 10 years old.
He needs to watch that.
He's 10 years old.
You know the shorts are still on, right?
Watch it. What is he going to gain from that?
No. So my question was, and this is something Nelson and I were talking about. we were like, do kids even know who the Looney Tunes are? Like, they really aren't in the public eye as much as, say, Disney characters, you know?
Right.
Just put the Animaniacs back out. So
Right. And do you know what the Animaniacs are, Matthew?
Well,
No,
Right. Do you know what Tiny Toons are?
no.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about Matthew. I'm just saying, like, what is Warner Brothers doing? So like, this movie is for us because we know who the Looney Tunes are, right?
but we're
But-
also bringing the kids though, right?
well, they also are bringing the Looney Tunes back. Have you guys been seeing the previews of that?
Well, yeah. So when HBO Max launched, they started making new shorts. Warner Brothers is not doing a good job promoting the Looney Tunes, and I too did not care for this movie, but I quickly understood as the movie went on that this movie wasn't for me, even though people in our age group are more likely to see it and bring our children to it. And I was just very curious, like, kids today don't know who the Looney Tunes are, but they'll watch this movie, but then turn around and not watch anything else Looney Tunes related. So what was the point of that?
Because it was a chance for Warner Brothers to,
Try to indoctrinate them.
But
yeah, because
it's probably not
for
working.
example, my son plays Fortnite, and they will come out with a new skin or something.
LeBron was
He'll be
on
like,
there.
oh, I like this skin, but they will base that skin off an old something that I will know about, and he won't know about it. Something like that.
Right. But then, like, how likely are the kids to like do some research and like find this content? Because just think about this, like, if they don't really do anything like drastic to like really get the public consciousness on Looney Tunes, like, nobody's gonna give a shit about that. Like, do y'all care about like Popeye?
I do.
Because you were a sailor.
I watched Popeye when growing up. It was I watched it.
Right.
About it right now, no, but it has.
Right.
I mean, has they have? Is it Warner Brothers or is that Nick? I'm not sure.
I think it's Warner. I think
Yeah.
Warner owns
But
that.
have they pushed them in the last 15, 20 years?
Not really. Like the dude that did Samurai Jack, he's been trying so hard to get a Popeye movie out, but they're like, no, make another Hotel Transylvania.
Did you guys like them doing the whole
Movie hopping.
yeah, I mean not the movie hopping part, but like them doing their whole Ready Player One thing,
Movie
like
hopping.
showing,
Having everybody show up, having like
Yeah.
Brian's asking for the Iron Giant and King Kong, but we can't get those guys, but they somehow show up to the game. Like,
right. I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
can we go get them a jersey or two? Like,
Right.
Although that is one thing I did appreciate, how they had all those different shows and movies
But
all
then-
watch them.
but
I
then
did
they
kind of
did
like
it-
that little twist on it.
But they did it half-assed at one point. Like on the sidelines, they had like some random man dressed up as the Mask, or some random man dressed up like the Penguin from Batman Returns.
I mean, you're
and it's
not
like,
going to get Danny DeVito and Jim
Nightwalker.
Carrey for this.
I
but-
agree, but like, have you ever been to like New York or Vegas where they have those people dressed up as like characters and you pay them? But like, it looked like they found some people on the street and they were like, hey, you want $50? Just stand here while we film this movie. Don't look at LeBron in the face. That's what that felt like.
I almost think this movie was about 10 years too late.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, 10 years ago, well, let me ask you, would you still take it back 10 years, would you still put LeBron as the main guy?
Ooh, what the
LeBron
Whoa.
would be the main guy 10 years from now, but
10 years ago?
But he's still
10 years ago. Think about who was in the league 10 years ago.
Well,
Would you still put
talking about
LeBron?
Kobe?
I would honestly put Kobe as one of the villains. I would put him in Diana Taurasi's spot as the Mamba, the snake.
So I mean, it could leave a different avenue, but I still don't like the whole. And I wish they would have done more. like now, honestly, I haven't, like you said, I haven't seen the first Space Jam in years, so I could be completely wrong. But I feel like they didn't. The Looney Tunes, once they got to the court, they weren't as
Fun.
yes, like it was missing something that I thought maybe they did in the first one where they had more
Wacky hijinks showing off like this is what the Looney Tunes do.
right, and then
They just
didn't
out
have
here
none of that in
hooping.
this one.
But you
Yeah,
gotta
they was
remember the
hooping.
fact. You gotta remember the fact that LeBron was like, "Hey, Bugs, this ain't your damn team. This is my team." So everybody was all like, "Okay, let's play normal basketball." But then they,
At halftime.
at halftime, he was like, we're trying to play like you," and he was all like, "Oh, maybe I should believe in my team instead." Like, I feel like this whole thing is LeBron's fault. Like, if you believed in your kid like an hour ago, maybe we wouldn't have had to deal with all of this.
Look, his kid needs to not be a fucking nerd and pick up a basketball like him, all right?
But the weird part about it, and also about that too, it's not like that was his only son though.
Right.
He already had a son that was
He
good
had
at
like a
basketball.
16-year-old son or whoever.
Right, so you was like, nah,
Fucking
man, I want
stupid.
both my sons to be good at basketball. Focus on basketball. You already had one. The other one could have done this other thing.
Like, why
Nah.
are you pushing your own beliefs that was pushed on you as a kid? Your own bad beliefs, like, hey, no, you can't play the Game Boy as a kid. So, and he's like a developer. You saw him doing all these things. Like, okay, he just made this video game, and okay, the little glitch. Can we talk about how Bugs Bunny they just said fuck that glitch, and he's just in the world
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't really remember the first one, but like I feel like they were in the real world in the first one too. So that means nothing, right?
But okay, so the
remember they
glitch.
went,
Well, they were.
They went in the real world to get his shoes and his basketball clothes.
Right. So the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like, did the glitch make him CGI like a 3D model now?
Also, it took me a minute to get the. I was like, why did they call it Space Jam again? I was like,
Cyberspace.
cyberspace.
Yeah.
Oh, it took me.
Boo.
Boo! Yeah, absolutely.
I ain't
So-
gonna, also, I'm not gonna lie. You know when they turned them into 3-dimensional?
Mhm.
I didn't like it. I kind of liked it back when it was
I
cartoon.
didn't like that either.
I bet
I
you-
like the 2D.
I bet your
like the
son
2D
liked that shit though.
ones.
You like it when they turned 3D, or you like the cartoon better?
I mean, I liked it 2D, but then I also liked how the only part I liked it when it was 3D was when like Taz spins or like the
Tell me something that you liked about the movie that has nothing to do with Taz. For you guys to know, that's his favorite character. So
You
tell
need
me.
to- Look on look on
I
YouTube
didn't
for
know.
some
I couldn't figure that
Tasmania
one
for
out.
him.
So what? Name something else you liked about the movie.
I liked how Dom upgraded
You like what?
the younger son. That
What do you mean? He said he liked when Dom upgraded. What do you mean upgraded?
Oh, at the end when he turned
Oh.
into a CGI creature.
turning to 75, it went to 100.
Oh, got you. Okay.
I mean, Matthew, in your son's defense, I mean, Taz did have his own show also.
Yeah, Tasmania.
So
I think it was
It's
it's
good.
not like really anyone else had their own show except for Bugs
Bugs.
and Tweety.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, can we go back to the whole style points thing? And like the last two scores was 2 points. Like
Yeah.
all of this, all this
Right.
drastic crazy
Like
stuff
the
that happened.
whole, everything
it was
else was
like,
like
oh.
75 to 100 points each. And then everyone else is getting posterized for the last like 10 seconds. And it's like, here's 1.5, here's 2 points. I'm
That
like,
shit was
what
too
is
basic,
this?
all right? It was basic.
And then they did all of this
I'm like-
stuff, and I thought they were playing like LeBron was going to stretch his arm out like
No.
a certain other show that we're not going to talk about. But then his son like just threw the little upgrade at him and just bounced off of that. And okay.
You know, I kind of wish he did stretch his arm out just for the nostalgic purposes and take something from the first one. In case everyone didn't know, this is a spoiler show. Just want to drop that in there.
I thought that they would like make him like pass it off to his son since his son was sitting over there for the 3 and let his son get the glory. Because you know they put LeBron out there like and this is real media. They're like, oh, he passes the ball too much in the crucial moments. I thought they would have let him actually pass the ball off for a second, but they didn't do it. So
LeBron is the star of this movie, okay? Not
his
his
son
son.
could be the star too, you know.
Well, but his son could have been like, "See, Dad, I can play. I just hit that 3."
Even though he upgraded himself to 99,
Right.
cheating ass son.
So
They made another Space Jam. Who should be their quote main guy? Their new LeBron.
So let's actually put a pin in that. Let's talk about that after we do trivia. What do you guys think that the Rotten Tomatoes is on this movie?
75.
66.
A hard 38.
31 at the time that I took the screenshot.
Wow.
81% audience score though, so the people like the movie. Originally, the sequel to the Space Jam 1 was going to have Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes having a basketball game against a new alien villain named the Berserko. Ultimately, Michael's refusal to return resulted in the production's cancellation. So that leads into this week's trivia question. Name the Space Jam sequel that was never in production at one point. So you have A, Skate Jam with Tony Hawk, B, Golf Jam with Tiger Woods, C, Race Jam with Jeff Gordon, or D, Tennis Jam with the Williams sisters. And you're naming the one that was not like in production, where they did not approach the celebrity or they did not have the idea for a said sport game.
Oh, well, then never mind. I'll go to tennis one.
I'm going tennis also. Venus.
A little Race Jam.
All right, yeah, you guys are right. It's Tennis Jam. They never approached the Williams sisters, but all three of those were things that they were trying to get off the ground. The Skate Jam, Golf Jam, and Race Jam.
Tony Hawk posted about the Skate Jam one a couple days ago.
Damn, Tony Hawk spoiling my.
That's how I knew that.
Spoiling
that
my
one
trivia.
Right. I can almost see Tony Hawk doing it, and you know what? I can almost see the Williams sisters doing it though too.
I mean, if they would have been approached, I feel like they would have did it. Like if they would have did that in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, it would have been hot.
Yeah. So additional trivia. After the original idea for Space Jam 2 was canceled, there was an idea for a spy film called Spy Jam starring Jackie Chan, but he left the production and it evolved into Looney Tunes Back in Action, which came out in 2003. Has anybody seen that?
I feel like I saw it and it doesn't ring a bell. So it was trash.
Bob Bergen is the only voice actor to return from the original Space Jam. He played Tweety. The original voice of Lola from the first movie, she came back and recorded all of her lines, and then they were like, no, thank you, and they replaced her with Zendaya.
That's crazy.
That's cold. Why? What was the reason?
Right.
Because Zendaya is a name. Yeah, she's a name.
Good.
I mean, if you look at all the commercials, it was.
But I'm saying does that
just
matter
her
though?
on there.
Like,
Yeah.
and so they was like, yeah, I'm gonna go see Space Jam because she's playing Lola.
There are people that will see that movie because she's in it. It's not uncommon for them to do stuff like that. Like, you guys remember the Jetsons movie?
No.
In the early 90s, they made a Jetsons movie, and they brought everybody that was alive came back to reprise their roles. But then at the last minute, they replaced the voice actress of Judy with some pop singer that was popular at the time, just to get butts in the seats.
Was there butts in the seats?
I mean, no, that movie didn't do well, and it helped like bankrupt Hanna-Barbera. But Warner Brothers bought them, so you know. So the last one, this is an official trivia question, but I did some digging and I finally found out the answer. So as we all remember, Pepe Le Pew was cut from this movie. Would anybody like to guess what movie he was gonna be in? Like what Warner Brothers movie section he was gonna be in? I mean, don't think too hard, because like I would have never guessed this shit.
All right, what was it?
Either one of you guys want to guess?
Oh, Warner Brother property.
I mean, they own
I don't
so
think we
much
got
shit.
time to think of.
It's he was gonna be in Casablanca.
Oh gosh.
I was actually thinking about that too.
Wow. Okay.
Deep
I mean,
cut.
I can see how that'd be connected.
Right. I
mean-
can see that
Well,
too.
frankly, my dear.
Okay.
Right. So coming back to Steve's question, who would you like to see if they were gonna make Space Jam 3? What sport? What athlete?
All right, here we go. 10-year-old. Who would you like to see a new Space Jam movie? Yeah, he said if it was football, Patrick Mahomes.
I can see that.
Okay.
Our Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I can see Mahomes being more, if you will, cooler with Bugs in the crew than Rodgers.
Absolutely.
I'm
Well,
trying to think who.
I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna do tennis with Naomi.
Well, that's what I was about to go with. I was like, yeah, tennis.
That's a
I'm
good
just,
one.
yeah, especially her tennis. What other sports? I don't know about hockey.
Baseball.
Baseball. Who we got? Shohei Ohtani. Who? I don't. Steve, you do
Yeah,
baseball.
Ohtani.
Who's the most popular
Ohtani.
baseball player right now?
I would say, even though he's injured, still Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. Okay.
I
Yeah,
would throw Mike Trout in there. I mean, Otani's definitely the man this year,
You
for
can
sure.
also do Messi
Or Tatis Jr.
or somebody with the soccer jam or whatever.
Oh, was that Rondo?
Rondo or Messi or Ronaldo.
Ronaldo,
Yeah,
that's
Ronaldo.
it.
I
Sorry.
say because Beckham already had his time
He
in the
did
light
like
with
that.
when he bent it.
Was he even in that
Never.
movie? Was he in that movie?
I don't know.
Did they have the highlights like they did for LeBron in the first movie?
Yeah,
I think they showed him do the credits.
I believe so, either before or after.
I'm like, it's kind of
Yeah,
like
they're
where they
in
talk
there.
about, like Dave Chappelle did a skit about Antoine Fisher. How are you gonna make a movie about your life and it's just all this good stuff? He is like, was this a tribute to LeBron or was this a tribute to Warner Brothers? It was like
It was
LeBron
both.
showing all his highlights and Warner Brothers like, oh wait, let me show you everything we got. It was like a odd to both of them.
I'm surprised that there wasn't a plug for HBO Max and how to sign up in this movie.
Right.
And did you notice LeBron? His jersey was the only one with his logo on it.
He's the
Oh,
only
really?
It's like,
I saw that he
yeah,
had the
it's like,
freshman
can't you
Carolina
just share it
on.
with the whole team since it's quote your team?
Yeah, can we talk
I-
about the CG hairline that they put on his head?
I was looking at that
Man
too.
was killing the game. I'm touching my hair half the time. I'm like, geez.
The best special effects. That's why this movie cost $250 million. That that green screen do-rag they had him on.
That's hilarious.
But do you guys have anything to plug before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
I'm Nelson on here, but I'm also Doug the Scruff 314 on Twitch. I stream games from here and there. I've been on a little hiatus, but I'm coming back. I'm trying to get my little game room set up. I got the light going and I got the little, trying to get everything situated, but I'll be back soon. And on Instagram is Doug the Scruff. So follow me.
Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weusedtotalkpod@gmail.com. Like our Facebook page, We Used to Talk About This at Work, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at We Used to Talk Pod. So I want to thank you guys for coming on, and I'm extending the invitation. If you want to come back for Space Jam 1, we're going to be doing that around this time next month. But yeah, this is a lot of fun.
And boom goes the dynamite.
And away the news goes.